family. My name is Rayo. We are on the scene with Purpose TV. We are here with 19 Keys at the Artist Block in Greensboro, North Carolina. Could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah, 19 Keys, author, thought leader, paradigm shifter, world changer, speaker, serial entrepreneur, many different titles. But above all, I'm a young rich black guy. Rich is in the point of not of money, but in the asset of knowledge to attain all the wealth that I need.
Thank you for that. So we are here and we've got our crown.
Yeah.
So could you explain the significance of this moment and what this crown does and what it has to offer and all that you would like to speak
a
to?
crowning is meeting people at their journey and giving them what they already earned. You understand me? A crown is me really putting the aesthetics of who you already are on your mind, because you already have your crown, but it's in your mind. Now I'm just putting one on your head. But you first deserve anything by doing the work. You don't deserve anything that you don't put that work in, you don't put that time in. So I get the beautiful ability to meet people at different points of their journey, and by the meeting of our journeys, connected through the synchronicity of knowledge and shifting the paradigms, that means that you earned your crown. You understand me? And people always tell me, how do you earn your crown? First, you gotta support yourself by doing the work to build yourself. And as you continue to build yourself, you continue to make it to new destinations and new places that you've never been. You have to break old habits of your old character to build your new self. And as you continue to build yourself, you continue to emanate with the resonance of what these symbols mean, which is freedom, justice, equality, enlightenment, power, rulership, ownership of yourself, and the highest quality of being that you're supposed to become. So there are no mistakes along the journey. Those are only stepping stones that you use to take yourself to higher levels of the journey. So we tapped in.
Tapped in. Thank you, King.
Absolutely.
So today was the Art of Paradigm Shifting and the group economics event. What would you say was your top 3 most important or favorite topics that you spoke on tonight?
The value of knowledge, the difference between facts, the difference between information, knowledge, smarts, and wisdom, and how we can utilize that knowledge of understanding that to give ourselves access and means to be more effective and not just efficient, right? And so people always want to figure out how they can become good at doing anything instead of figuring out what's the best way to do the thing. And for me, that's the smarts that you get. It's about the creative capacity, right? And not doing the hard work, but doing the smart work, right? Creative capacity directly deals with your ability to be able to utilize these tools most effectively. We have opportunities in abundance all the way around us. And speaking of abundance, it's more so about knowing what to keep in balance and what to have in abundance, right? We have character defaults, liabilities within our principles that's set up that our procrastination is a liability. The way we don't have control over our emotions is a liability. The way we learn may be a liability. Our execution may be a liability, right? So you don't want to balance out your assets and your liability, your focus driven, your ambition, your ability to learn, your ability to think clearly, your critical thinking, problem solving, your creativity. You want to have so many assets over here that it greatly outweigh your liability, so you have wealth within your character to be able to build anything that you need. You come up with an idea, you have to be able to shift your language and doing it in the now and not procrastinating to do it in the later. You have to know when your mind is pregnant with an idea, how to birth these ideas and how to go through that process necessary to become a new person, right? And you have to understand that first, you already won by being born because you fought to be here. Nobody forced you to burrow to that sperm to get here, to be in production of your mother's womb. Nobody forced you to gasp and take your first breath. Nobody forced you to do anything. You fall out of 100 other million to even get here in the first place. But we forget to be grateful for the existence that we fought for. And so number one, we have to be grateful for what we have instead of just what we want. Oftentimes, we're so busy counting our scars, we forget the fact that they've healed. So we have to count our blessings. And I'm so busy counting my blessings, I don't even look at what somebody else has, because I'm continuously accumulating more blessings. I want to have so many blessings, I need somebody else to help me count these. They just spilling over. You know what I mean? Cup over. You know what I'm talking about? Synchronicity. So it's more so about tapping in to that God within, right? Because a lot of people pray, but they don't realize they're the first person to hear their prayers, right? So you should be the first person to answer it. You praying for the ability to do, not for the ability for something to be done for you, right? So once you give yourself permission, once you give yourself power, once you legitimize yourself, you validate your own self. You don't say, oh, I need this title to be validated. I need to stand next to this person with this clout to be validated. No, The moment you realize that you are your own savior, you're saved. The brother Spirit and his energy. He was telling me about some of the good community work that he's doing out there in Oakland. You know, I'm from Oakland, so anybody that go back to my hometown and help out the good people out there, very powerful characters. These brothers out here collaborate with each other, and in essence and the beauty with egoless to where I haven't seen in a lot of different places that I go to. So anytime that I see black men demonstrating that type of inclusion, that type of solidarity, breeding that type of unity, I love and I respect it. So I appreciate you good guys, man. Shifting y'all.
You mentioned being pregnant with ideas, with your ideas. What would be the steps that you take in order to bring those ideas to life?
With anything, you know, it's just like if you're starting a business, you know what I mean? Write it down first. Most of the ideas and the things that I brought out to fruition, I wrote them down. Writing things on paper have energetic properties. You understand me? Not just having them in our mind, but actually writing them down has a signature of energy. It's validating the idea, it's taking it from your mind, and that's the first step into bringing it into life. But you have to animate that idea with the work that you do. You know what I mean? That process of animation is the energy that you put into that work. But first, you got to get the necessary knowledge to be able to execute the right way. So research and development of any idea that you put it into progress is very important. And not everybody does the proper research and development. That can look like getting a consultation. That can look like enrolling into a class. That can look like buying statistical information based on the market research that you're putting out. That can look like many different ways, but you write it down, you do your R&D, your research and development. Then after you get the information necessary, needed, then you execute. A lot of people fail at this stage, right? Because they get all the information, but then they try to become perfectionists before they get started. Perfectionism is built out of insecurities. Never believing that you have enough. Never believing that you are enough. So you try to make things perfect before you showcase them to the world, before you begin. So it's like, once you write it down, once you get your information necessary, then you got to execute. The execution phase is monumentally important because so many people have genius ideas, but they procrastinate, they abort instead of give birth. You got to know that the execution is the hardest part because you're doing things you've never done before. So you're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. People going to say that's silly, that ain't right. But you have to have that faith in yourself. Faith is the ability to believe in things yet unseen. Right? And so if it's not seen yet, but you know, since it's in my mind, it's possible. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said when the universe was created, it destroyed the impossible. You understand me? Because from the universe, everything is possible. You understand me? So you have to know how you can pull it from this vast space. There's energy all around. There's ions of energy. If you ever look at a windmill rotates and it pulls energy out the air. We have energy all around us. We have to know how to tap into that. We have to know how to keep our ideas enthused in our mind regardless of what somebody else say. We have to confide in the truth of what we know our ideas are great. You have to have superior confidence. So when you're in that execution phase, you stay ahead, you focus, you ain't worrying about nothing. Nothing gonna stop your delivery because you gotta have this baby. Right. You understand me? So you already know you've been feeding your baby right, you've been eating right. You understand me? You've been doing everything necessary to cultivate this idea, but now it's time to give birth. Right, but that's painful as hell because it's doing things you've never done before. So you get into that executing phase, and then after that, your baby is out there, but you don't just let the baby to the world. You got to take care of your child.
You got to nurture your child.
Exactly. Now, that's a whole new phase. What do I feed this baby? What's the best marketing strategy for me to do? What's the best people for me to keep my mind around and make sure that my baby has the best influence? How do I plan for this baby for the next 1, 2, 10, 15 years to make sure that I'm building something that's going to be a legend? You don't know that one child that was a legend by the age of 10. It takes much longer for your business to be out there. You have to plan for your business to be out there for a long time, not a short amount of time. So for me, it's thinking long term as well after you execute, right? So there's a lot of people out there that have great ideas, but they don't believe in themselves.
Right.
So they will see somebody else execute the idea years later or months later and saying, damn, I had that. That was a good idea. But you only validated the good idea by someone else's execution and not your own. Me, if I have an idea, I know it's good because I came up with it. No, so if I say I'm the #1 speaker, the #1 author, the #1 thinker, so are you. You just gotta claim your one.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at all. You claim your one, I claim my one. And we all the one. And we all get to tap in. But sometimes they tell us, yeah, man, be humble. But if you go back to the definition of humble, it's more so being inferior than what you really are. So you humble in your works. Like the work is the humility. For real, for real.
Right.
Not because somebody else came. I ain't gotta wait till somebody else see it to validate it. I came up with it. I love and believe in myself so much. I know it's genius because it came out my mind. So I know it's a good one to execute.
It's that confidence within yourself.
Absolutely. So for anybody out there, man, this is what I want you to do. People ask me all the time, what do I do when I quit my job? Well, when you quit your job, think about this. You've had ideas before that were $1 million, billion-dollar ideas. The difference is you didn't execute it on. So I want you to take all those great ideas that you once had and I want you to write it down. I want you to remix it of what it would look like in today's time to execute, and then I want you to get the necessary knowledge in order to get that done, and I just want you to tap in.
So earlier you mentioned there's so much energy available to us, and it's up to us to tap in. I know personally speaking, there have been times where I wanted to be a perfectionist, and I felt the chaos of the energy around me made it difficult for me to pinpoint and focus on exactly what it was I wanted. So what would be your advice for finding a way to understand that yes, this energy is vast, but we need to focus? How do you focus in?
Focus is finding something that you truly believe in. You know, for me, I think you gotta build a big vision first. And then you focus on the details of building that vision out.
Okay.
When you clean up a room, you don't just start with grabbing everything with 10 hands all at once and it's done.
Wow, yeah.
You start with one thing at a time, and you focus on picking up this one thing, the next thing. You're not thinking about everything that you gotta pick up because your brain is gonna be scattered, and then you're not gonna be able to actually get anything done. So it's more so about thinking about what's my next step, right? I know what the big vision is, but I'm just focused on the present, the steps that need to be done. So you have to steep yourself in the present to be like, all right, every day I wake up, I'm thinking about what goals need to be done in order for this big goal in order to be completed. So every day I'm building out my dream, I'm building out my goal. I'm picking up something each time, and next thing you know, the whole room is clean. Not for me cleaning it all up at once. A lot of people are intimidated by the results. They're intimidated by it because they're thinking about how they do it all at once instead of how they do it one by one.
Right.
Right? The one by one allows you to focus. You understand me? And say, oh, all I need to do is this. And then once I do this, then I add in this, and then cool, I'm done. But yes, it's very intimidating when you need to do everything all at once. So it's like you have to be able to shut out things that's not valuable to you. You have to be able to shut out things that's not assets to you. If it's not an asset, it shouldn't get any of your focus anyway. Your focus is directly correlated to what you want to produce in life, right? So if I focus on self-development, right, and I say, you know what, I want to eat better. I need a better group of friends. I want to spend my money on things that give me an ROI on a return. I want to, go to places that give me knowledge.
Right.
That's a direct correlation between self-love and self-interest. So if I'm focused on building self, then I just have to do everything that correlates to that focus, right? It's not saying that I have to be perfect in how I move, because there's a lot of artists that are disorganized, but they know the picture they want to paint. So everything that they do, it may seem like a chaotic system, but it's all built to create this vision. So every conversation I have is for the vision. Everything that I eat is still giving me energy to produce the vision. Every person that I come in contact with is building my network and my connections up to help me with this vision. Every dollar that I spend is an asset that I can use as a tool and a resource to build this vision. So your bigger focus, you have to figure out what's your vision first, right? And then everything you do, even if you don't do it in the right order, it's still going to come out to the completion of this vision. Right? And that's the most important thing, just making sure that whatever you focus on is actually building out your bigger vision for your life.
Right. So how do you feel about determining assets versus liabilities?
It's pretty easy to me. An asset is something that gives you a return, right? A liability is something I got a chapter in a book that's about energy assets versus energy liabilities, right? So everything is energy. Every single thing. If I have a conversation with you and it takes more energy than it gives more energy, to me that's a liability, right? If we sitting there and we chopping it about things that's not ideas and it's gossip, that's a liability. It gives me no return. I go spend my money on shoes, entertainment, sex, none of those give me a return, all liabilities. I go buy a car, it depreciates off the lot, I'm only using it to drive, it's a liability. I go buy a house, I'm sleeping in it, I'm paying the mortgage, it's a liability. I take that same house and then I rent it out to a tenant, now it becomes an asset, it's giving me a return, it's gonna pay for itself. If I eat an apple and my body goes to break down that apple to take all of the energy and renew my cells, now it becomes an energy asset because it's giving more energy than it took to actually eat that apple. You understand me? So you gotta think, if you sitting there doing research that's painful for you, but then a production of you actually taking that research is allowing you to be able to build this $1 million company, right? That was an asset for you because it gave you a return on your investment. So if anything you do don't give you a return on your energy, a return on your investment, a return on your time, then it's a liability for you. If you a procrastinator, ain't no return of investment on procrastination. None. But if you're a focused, driven, disciplined individual that likes to execute, those are all principles and characteristics that's going to give you a return on your investment of self. If I go to we just came from an event, you paid $30, you got that return back tenfold. You understand me? You spent your time on something that's giving you a return. So it's like your friends that's around you, if they're not feeding your genes, if they're not feeding that God within, if they're not helping you produce a better self, then they all liabilities. It's taking way too much time and energy me being around these people that don't make me better. I'm taking your habits that are more liabilities to myself. So no, we have to continue to do things that add on and don't take from. So the best measurable ways you got to think about is this adding more value to me. Right? Because oftentimes we want to chase a thing instead of becoming things to be chased. The more knowledge I give myself, the more results that I have, the more valuable I become. The more things sought me out, the less things I'm sought out because I'm the value. So only assets can build up your value, not liabilities.
Right. So building value for yourself comes with creating more assets for self.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. So is there anything that you want to share, anything that you would like to say? What is the one thing that you would like to share with the people that have tuned in to On the Scene with Purpose TV?
Liability start with the lies that we tell ourselves, right? You cannot find your purpose if you're lying, right? Purpose comes from the attachment of truth, right? The more truthful we are to ourselves, the more we align to our purpose. When we say things we don't mean, right? When we do things that have no real meaning at all, none of those things are aligned with our purpose. So it's not until we stop lying to ourselves that we can actually find the truth and we can connect that to our purpose. You can do something you're good at, or you can do something you like to do. Oftentimes what we like to do is not enough to feed our income. So what you have to do is you have to figure out what we're good at, right? To have fun what we like to do. Right? And therefore you'll be able to live a life that's purposeful, where you can do something to where you enjoy every single second of it. Right? So you take what you're good at to fund what you like to do, but oftentimes people love what they're good at because it makes them feel what? Purposeful.
Beautifully said. Tap in. Thank you, King, for this interview. It was an honor. Thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in to On the Scene with Purpose TV. And until next time, peace, family.
Peace.